Poverty and the desire for control. From poor to awakening power. Talking about the poor, many might assume poverty equates to a lack of desire for control. Indeed, when the poor are in a state of poverty, they may realize they cannot control much. However, when the poor start to gain wealth or power, their desire for control can often surpass common understanding, exhibiting a state that is difficult to comprehend. Here's a specific example. Our company once employed a manager who seemed honest and reliable during the initial review. We overlooked his impoverished background. Once he assumed the role, his control over subordinates was nearly perverse, timing even their bathroom breaks. Ultimately, after roughly 2 weeks on probation, we had no choice but to dismiss him. His control mentality was beyond comprehension and made collaboration nearly impossible. He came from a poor family, worked hard to obtain a vocational diploma, and initially seemed enthusiastic about work. But his desire for control was astounding. Not everyone is like this, but we conducted some investigations after this incident. We discovered a general issue. People from impoverished backgrounds tend to have a strong desire for control. This is a common phenomenon, although not universal, but enough to warrant attention. This desire for control may stem from their deep-seated experience of helplessness and powerlessness during their poverty. By exerting extreme control over others and situations, they attempt to compensate for their past lack of control. However, this approach often becomes excessive, not only affecting themselves but also causing harm to others. While we should extend understanding and empathy to those from impoverished backgrounds, we must also be mindful of their potential for extreme control behavior. As employers or collaborators, we should be more cautious in our hiring practices and closely observe their behavior to ensure such extreme control issues do not arise. Indeed, dealing with them, maintaining openness and communication can guide their desire for control in a reasonable manner and avoid adverse consequences. In team collaborations, emphasizing equality and respect can help create a harmonious work environment. The psychological mechanisms behind this desire for control warrant further research and understanding. We need to analyze this phenomenon from different perspectives to find suitable solutions. One direction might involve providing better education and psychological counseling for children from poor families, teaching them how to manage their lives properly and fostering their ability to work with others. Establishing a more open and equitable environment in the workplace and society can also help mitigate the negative development of excessive control desires. Through education and awareness campaigns, we can make more people understand the importance of respecting others' freedoms and rights, and cultivate their consciousness of cooperation in a team. Lastly, as individuals, we must constantly reflect on our own behavior to ensure our desire for control does not become excessive and affect others. When interacting with others, be mindful of maintaining moderate control and avoid being overly assertive. At the same time, be observant and ready to handle others' control desires to protect your own interests. In conclusion, the relationship between poverty and the desire for control is a matter worth our in-depth exploration and attention. By understanding this phenomenon, we can better identify potential issues and take appropriate measures to ensure the healthy development of our teams and organizations. Have you encountered similar situations? How did you handle them?